Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head with David and Dale Cross, the real estate lifestyle podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Join us as we share stories from our community, insight into the local lifestyle, and the real scoop on real estate.
From market trends to home design, we dive deep into what it means to live and thrive here.
Discover the state of mind and philosophy of the Low Country that enriches life through personal growth, health and wellness, and human connection.
Whether you're a local or thinking of becoming one, we're here to guide you through the ins and outs of living this coastal escape.
Tune in, relax, and enjoy the conversation with Real Talk Hilton Head,
the podcast of Coastal Carolina.
This episode is brought to you by the David Dale team, powered by eXp Realty in Hilton Head.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today is Real Talk Hilton Head first Zoom we've ever done. We're not in studio, and unlike the past episodes, it's just David today. Dale's not here, but my guest today, we go back a very, very long way. We go back to 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. Actually. Yeah, yep. 2004, Columbus, yep. Ohio. Travis, at the time, this is Travis Comstock. At the time, Travis was in the medical device industry, right? Medical sales.
Yeah.
Device.
Started pharmaceutical out of college, then went into device. So.
Yeah. So Travis has since moved on. We're going to get into the story, and we're going to tie in why he's on Real Talk Hilton Head. He doesn't live in the States. He's an expatriate down in Costa Rica, which he'll get into. But he has since turned his journey into a real estate journey. And that's why we're going to have him on the show today. So welcome to the show, Travis.
Thank you. It's good to see you. Sorry, Dale couldn't join today, but we'll catch her on the next one.
Well, maybe we get you in studio. That'll be the next one.
There you go. You buy my flight, I'm there.
Have you been to Hilton Head before?
I have. Yeah, it was awesome. I think 2008 or 9, my family rented a beach house, literally walk over the bushes, you're on the beach. That was awesome. I mean, they had a Ohio State bar. I remember it must have been fall. So it was a good trip. A little difficult to get to depending on where you fly into now, but yeah, it was awesome.
It's funny. That's called Mangiamo's. I'm actually really good friends with the owners. They're my neighbors, actually. They live right down the street. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Nice.
Really good dude. So, all right. Well, hey, why don't we jump into this? So we talked about you living in Columbus, Ohio. So what led Travis Comstock from investing in properties? Because that's how we met initially. You were really into properties. You were trying to build your portfolio and wealth through there, to now living and selling real estate, going out of medical sales and, of all places, Costa Rica.
Yeah, like pretty big life change, huh? No, so like you said, it started in pharmaceutical sales right out of college. Was I believe smart enough to kind of save that, meet with you and Dale, understand exactly, what leverage means, maybe over leverage at some point, but got into very nice areas of Columbus. I only did brick side-by-side duplex. A few of them I was able to go through the legal process to make condos and sell those off individually. So a lot was happening, as you know, and then 07, 08 hit, everything changed. I mean, that was bad lending, how bad that was. So
it was, yeah.
I was able to get rid of some of the properties, but that then and there said to move on to, something more secure for a while. And that led me to medical device, onto Chicago, where I lived for 11 years, and got into the medical device industry, more specifically neurostimulation for a variety of things, and mainly startup companies. So that was very enjoyable run.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize you were there for that long in Chicago. How were those winters up there, by the way?
Well, that's the thing. Like when I was in Columbus, it felt too warm. So I needed more of wind and cold. So it's okay. The summers are so worth it. Obviously, we're big boating people, so we're out on the water every day, Lake Michigan, which is unique, down the Chicago River, which is phenomenal. But we try to travel in the winter, which makes life a little bit easier. But ultimately, that's kind of why we're down here, is to soak in this 85-degree every day, sunny every day type of weather.
So how did you pick Costa Rica, out of curiosity? What was that? Well, go through that process. So, go through your process from transitioning. Hey, I'm not going to do medical sales. I'm going back into the world of real estate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And Costa Rica of all places.
So visiting other countries, there's not much of an expat community. Went to Colombia. I feel like that's more traditional Spanish. Went to, Panama, Mexico, but this was the most friendly place for expats to kind of land and call home. Been here several times, starting, 2009. Culture's great. Fell in love with the people. There's so much to do. Size of West Virginia, but it takes hours and hours to drive, which can kind of suck. But I mean, each part of Costa Rica is so different. You got rainforest, jungle, mountains, obviously beach. You got the Caribbean side, Pacific side. You're in the same time zone as Chicago, so coming down here and working is not hard to do. Bring your laptop. You maybe need a VPN if you're telling your company you're down here or not. But what led to sales, what led to real estate international sales in Costa Rica was the ability to kind of network with some of the local folks who have done it. I live in Jaco, where we are exempt from the maritime law. That's on the Central Pacific coast. And what that means is you can own title beachfront property right on the beach. You can also own, mountain homes with ocean view, fully titled as well. But 95% of Costa Rica, if you want to be within 200 meters of high tide, you have to get a concession, which is essentially a lease, very, very from the government. Renewable lease, you own the property. It can stay into a trust. It can, various things you can do. You have to do your due diligence on it to make sure it is legit. But there's so many attorneys here that you just need to find a good one, which I could recommend several. So to get back to the networking, I was able to come down and start with Remax, which is great. I did have my license in Indiana. We still have a lake house there on Lake James, north of Fort Wayne. But I had that in referral status, so I really didn't do a whole lot with it. But now it's, full go Costa Rica. What I'm doing is relying heavily on my contacts from my past job, which is all, neurosurgeons, ENTs, people with multiple homes. And I go back for medical device conferences because I used to sit on the other side of the table. So it's kind of good. I go back to the conferences. I set up shop with Remax. It's working pretty well. But there's so much to talk about with real estate in Costa Rica, just the investment side of it, the lifestyle investment, the ability, like I said, to come down here, maybe buy a lot now, build your dream home once you're down here. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. It's been a fun journey, long journey. But yeah, kind of needed a break from the everyday corporateness and, doing multiple startup companies, can wear you down a little bit. So it's been a great change. My fiance / wife, long story, COVID, but, she works remote for a healthcare IT company. So, able to, move down here.
Does she have the VPN?
Yeah, of course. And I need that to log into the dumbest things like insurance or, not my bank. That's a different story, but, no, so it was easier for us to do. We brought our dog down and we don't have children, but I will tell you more and more families are moving down here. International schools are phenomenal, much cheaper than in the States.
Yeah. What's funny story. I don't know if you know this, but Dale and I visited there in 2017. It was our first trip there. We actually stayed Jaco-ish. We were in Playa Hermosa, just down the street. And I fell in love with it. Like I literally was like, oh my gosh. And we were in Charlotte still, but at the time we knew we wanted to be coastal. We knew we wanted to change the pace from the city. And we had really, really considered Costa Rica. We ended up in Hilton Head, obviously, but it's funny. I think for us, it was because the kids, the ages where they were and not knowing the language, we were a little nervous.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I didn't know about, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, as I say, I remember at the time, I didn't know about the maritime thing because I remember hearing about, hey, you can't, like you own a house, but you don't own the dirt, right? Is that how that works? Exactly. Yeah, you own the structure. Yep.
And it's like in the States, the government's not in the business of selling property. They're not going to take your property unless you're doing something completely stupid on that concession, like build outside the zoning for it. you can get too close to the ocean. There's just a number of things you have to be careful of, but for the most part, you can knock it down. You could have flat land. You could leave it for your kids. You could decide not to renew it, which would be stupid. But it's all finding the right attorney, understanding which property is good versus which one's not when it comes to concession. As you can imagine, most of my clients, they don't want that. They're more familiar with titled property. So that's why Haco is very, very busy for both investors and people coming down that just want a piece of paradise. But the area you mentioned, Playa Hermosa, which was actually 3 or 4 in Costa Rica, but this is Punta Arenas, Garavito County, called oftentimes Haco or Hermosa Haco. But we actually got a lot last year, really nice, probably about a mile up. In the mountains, there's 2 routes up there. One, you want a four-wheeler, which we have. It's a side-by-side Honda. And then there's another paved route, which is awesome because I need to come to Haco quite a bit, and that's about 20 minutes. So ocean view, side to side. We have very nice neighbors. There's a resort beside us. So we're looking forward to building, which the lots are very, very cheap compared to like Guanacaste, which is a very, very expensive area. So you can get large plots of land right now that are very good price, but obviously going up because there's not many more mountain views out there.
Are you thinking about making a move to the Lowcountry?
Whether you're searching for the perfect home or you're exploring vibrant communities on the coast or dreaming of a new lifestyle, we're here to help.
Contact the David Dale team today and let's make your dream a reality.
Yeah, that's the one thing. We stayed up on a plateau. It's probably 300 feet up. I remember we got there at night and I looked up and this thing was so steep. I was like, oh my God, like, am I going to be able to make it?
Yeah.
I had this little Toyota that I rented and I didn't think the thing was going to get up. Yeah, and that's exactly right. But that vista view of the Pacific over, I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, yep. That's ironically has become my favorite thing. I still love going to the ocean, take the dog there quite a bit. There's so many beaches that are different, 10 minutes, 20 minutes away. Playa Hermosa is world famous for surfing. The surf circuit always comes through there. I don't touch it. I try pretty hard to surf in Haco. Even swimming in Playa Hermosa is not recommended. There's so many currents there, and the waves crash hard. But it's awesome. Esterias is our favorite beach by far.
I love Esterias. That
unreal.
Is beautiful.
Esterias is awesome. And then I think the favorite vibe would be sometimes getting out of Haco, going to Playa Hermosa. They have beach bars. You can watch the competitions.
Yep.
Go up very high, like our house is at, and take some cool photos, drone photos. But so much to do. That's why we chose Central Pacific. You can drive to just about anywhere. Uvita is a very popular destination down south.
Dominical.
Dominical, we go right through there. Guanacaste, I've been there several times. We just came back last weekend from Puerto Viejo, which is not far from Panama on the south side, Caribbean side. So, it's about a 5-hour trip down a mountain, up a mountain. But, driving here is a whole other thing. It's like a video. Pretty
That's
cool.
no lie. That is no lie. It is still kind of, it's not fully first world, that's for sure. But hey,
I call it developing. People call it third. Technically it is, but I get, defended like, hey, it's not third world, it's developing. True. I don't know if there's a second world, but I'd like to enter that. That'd be pretty cool.
Developing is a good word. It's funny though, on the Playa Hermosa thing, one of my memories, so Shiloh, our youngest, he was 3. He just turned 3 when we went there. And we were down walking on that beach, and because it was fast, the guys, those young kids that can surf those waves. I mean, and these waves were huge. I mean, I'm not joking, probably 12, 13 foot waves. I mean, they were monsters. And I'm walking on the beach with him, and this wave crashed so hard. And when it hit, it shot up and like literally, I was holding his hand and like swept him right out from underneath me. It freaked me out. I was like, you boys are going nowhere near this. But Haco, so gentle, and like we surfed there, and it was just those long rolling waves and big wide open bay. I mean, that was so beautiful, and the dark sand. It was awesome.
It's cool. It's volcanic sand. There's Playa Blanca not far from us, which is white sand. So A
Yeah.
little bit of everything, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you should buy a lot down here and just sit on it.
Well,
And
now speaking of that, let's transition because what's
yes,
funny, you got me all stirred up. I said to Dale, I was like, man, I see Travis's stuff and I'm like, I'm jealous. Like, and you're talking to a guy who lives in Hilton Head, right? Like, it's not
yeah,
like it's
exactly, which is a great
right,
area. Beats
right.
Columbus, although I love Columbus. Go Buckeyes.
Amen, amen. We'll get into that later too. National champs. So
There you
let's talk about real estate market in Costa Rica. Where are you at right now, and how would you compare it to the United States? And let's talk about, because here we have a ton of second home, a ton of
Mhm.
investment properties, obviously for the rentals. So let's talk about that
Mhm.
buyer, because it would be our buyer as well. And believe it or not, we have a lot of buyers, especially from the Northeast, who
I bet.
it's not just a second home, it's a third, it's a fourth home, right? And so for those out there who might stumble across this, let's talk about that comparison and say, hey, why would you look at Costa Rica? What is it going to get? And where's the market at?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting you say that because I have not had one client who doesn't own multiple homes in the States. And multiple may be, from California where they own big villas. It may be rental properties in South Carolina. Typically, though, I see them unloading a property to purchase here. I think just because it diversifies, you put your asset into an international, very safe market. I had mentioned to you before that when the U.S. is very hot, Costa Rica is hot. When the U.S. is very cold, Costa Rica is slightly cold. So right now we're entering into a buyer's market. I think a lot of the country is, but more serious buyers and higher transactions at this point. The typical cycle for someone in Jaco buying a condo would be come down for a couple of years, fall in love with the area, look at the window at Remax, look at the cheap prices, if depending on where you're from in the States. And then come back again, kick yourself for not purchasing the last time, and maybe on the third time. It could be within a year, that's when buying occurs. It is a cash market. Financing is very hard. Most
Oh,
people
is
come
it?
down. Yeah, yeah. It used to be so much easier before the crash that we discussed. And then US banks pulled out. So it's just hard. But mostly what people do 90% of the time, like I said, is sell something. Or what they'll do is do a home equity line of credit on a property in the States, use that money to come down for cash. There's
Okay.
hard money. Most people don't like the interest rates of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's one of the things that's challenging. However, your holding costs once you own the properties are extremely low. Your HOA and electricity are your biggest two. Property tax, forget about it. It's 0.25%. So it can be $1,000 a year, where in Chicago, we were paying close to $12,000 for a 2-bedroom in Lincoln Park. But I mean, it was a shoebox for the most part. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I mean. Holding costs are low. You can afford to get rental investment, money, and then pay those three things off for the year and use the property twice, and it's pretty gravy if people want to use it as a lifestyle investment. I think the days of like 10% return on investment for a condo are probably gone, honestly. But
Yeah.
in the bigger homes, that may still be there. You got to work hard for it. But here it's a lifestyle investment. You want to be down here, you're making it first and foremost for you. Like, I want this condo to be for us, and then we're going to rent it out, and whatever we can pay back, great, and then rely on that obviously long-term
Okay.
investment. But
Well, let's talk about that.
long-term.
So
Mhm.
you mentioned price comparison. So give me somebody. So for us, it's sort of that Northeast. I don't know. I'm assuming Chicago, the bigger cities, probably those northern people who kind of want to escape, get to a warmer climate. Is that who's attracting
A lot of
there?
California. Yeah, a lot
California.
of people in California escaping it. A lot of people in Denver who either have money. Denver's probably the busiest. Either people who have money or they're selling
Interesting.
something. Maybe they've been there forever. Florida's a big one. Miami's a big one. 2.5 hour flight.
Yeah.
Atlanta's
Yeah.
a big
That's quick
one.
flight. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Uh,
So now give me price comparisons then. What am I getting from my dollar there versus here?
yeah. The states are way more expensive. I mean, as you know, I have no clue. I'm guessing multi-millions if you want to be on the Atlantic Ocean, in the States, anywhere on the East Coast. I mean, maybe there's parts of Florida, but I doubt it anymore because New York is kind of flooded, at least that southern market of Florida. But The Panhandle is somewhat affordable into Alabama, but I mean, even that's, you're paying a lot of taxes, you're paying HOAs,
Yeah.
the type of client from California comes here and they laugh. They're like, this is so cheap. We can see the ocean. Other people recognize Jaco and certain areas, Guanacaste, are getting very expensive. So, for example, here in Jaco for a title beachfront condo on a pre-sale, you're looking at about $400,000 directly on the beach, brand new development.
Oh my
HOA
gosh.
under $500. Yeah. So act fast.
Are you thinking of selling your home?
With our exclusive Elevate package, we combine over 50 years of experience, cutting-edge data analytics, our unique marketing strategies, and our extensive network to help your home rise above the rest,
While maximizing your sales price and minimizing the time on the market.
So contact the David Dale team today to learn more.
All good.
Yeah, because it's funny because like Hilton Head, to give you a comparison. So, Hilton Head is obviously an island, so we're surrounded, right? So you may not be direct Atlantic, but say you can get on Skull Creek here, right across the street from me, there's a house. It's probably about 4,000 square feet, and it's for sale right now for 1.6. And taxes on that, are, so it's about 0.5%, so not too bad, by comparison. So about $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Atlantic side, a little condo, but you're still going to be double or triple where you're at. So by comparison, that's a pretty big deal, and the HOAs aren't too bad. Go ahead.
No, and I think even the big villas with ocean front and, ocean front, you're over $1 million. But I mean, if you want in the mountains and you have $1 million to spend, you're going to get a house. I mean, you're going to get a big house. So that's one of the things you can still accomplish here. And, it's just funny. You said people, and I kind of knew it, people in Hilton Head, it's not their first property. It's not their second. Kind of like I said, down here, that's what it's becoming. More expats, but honestly, people from Europe, Canada, big time, probably just.
I was going to say Canada, I could imagine.
Yep. I mean, people are angry at the US, people are angry at Canada. So, I mean, here they come, and a lot of people 6 months on, 6 months off.
Okay. So that's how it's working. So what is your carry? Well, one, what sort of rental can you expect to get on one of those oceanfront condos? Like what is the rental market like there?
It's very hot. We call it the high season, which is a non-rainy season, half of December, January, February, March, April through Easter, basically. That's when occupancy is going to be high, maybe 80 to 90%. Right on the ocean, obviously does much better for people traveling. There are a lot of condos off the beach, about a block, so they're cheaper. Your return on investment is probably higher. But again, if you're using it, you probably want oceanfront if you can afford that. Your lower season is most of the year beyond that. So May is not busy. If you think about it, in the States, there's graduation parties.
Right.
June, July, and August pick up. End of August, very, very slow, just because people in the States are back to school. November, it's rainy season. October, rainy season. That's very low occupancy. And then December kicks right back up for the New Year. So you're looking at rent anywhere from $250 to $350 high season for an average condo on the beach. And then off the beach, maybe as low as 115, 125. So, you name it, it kind of fits everywhere. And then, penthouses can go for $1,000. There's houses that can go for 1,200. So it's just about everything for everyone.
It's cheap by comparison. I mean, you rent a house here, that's not even on oceanfront, say like Sea Pines, right? On an interior lot, for the week, you might be at $10,000,
easy. Our lake house back in the States, we're, Northeast Indiana, so not the most popular destination, but we're getting 800 a night, 4th of July, 11 or 1,200. I mean, it's on the water. Anything on the water, it's hard to lose,
Yeah. We down here in Sea Pines, it was those old, 1970 little sort of, single story kind of beach cottage type thing. And these hedge funds come in, buy the property, tear it down, build these 8-10 bedroom homes, 12 baths. And these things are pulling $600,000 a year, some 800.
Oh, I bet.
It is mind blowing. The money. Actually, co-ownership is big here. Do you have co-ownership there at all?
Yeah, I think it's pretty smart to do. I mean, what you see a lot happening is a Costa Rica LLC with dual members, owning the shares. I think it's smart because obviously you're minimizing your early investment, but if you do it right and have the right property manager, same thing. You can make a lot of money to pay back that initial, cash purchase for
Yeah.
sure. Tourism is down a little bit, but it's still higher than 19, which is kind of the benchmark we use because COVID is
Yeah,
very unrealistic, very unfair to compare against. But
for
yeah,
sure.
I think, and that's kind of what I do at the medical conference. I bring an attorney with me to talk about setting up an LLC and going into business on international investment. And there's so many health, tie-ins at these medical conference and freedom, peace of mind, jungle, just, get these guys down here.
So what are the property management? What would it run you? What's your carry on a property manager as far as do they charge a percentage? Do they
Yeah,
charge a
they
flat?
normally it's kind of depends. If you want to make your most money on a condo, you do your own Airbnb, your own communication, your own booking, and you hire someone to do the cleaning, maintenance, checking it out. A lot of people don't want that. They're in the States, they have a job, they can't be bothered. So property manager, anywhere from 20% off the top up to 50%, depending on what they
It's
offer and what their
about the
occupancy
same.
is.
Yeah, it's about
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same here.
And I know
Okay.
4 or 5 can recommend easy. So one of the cool things, with a large brokerage like Remax is we have connections to, everyone. So it's
Of
very
course.
easy for me to hook my clients up with property manager, storage facility, attorney, escrow company, etc.
Okay, that's awesome. Now let's talk about the types of buyers. Who's coming down there outside of the very wealthy? I mean, is there anybody else that you're finding that
Yeah,
is like,
even
hey, go ahead.
it's interesting because I think the younger population's coming down here, and believe it or not, some of them do not have homes in the States because they simply can't afford it anymore. So this is
That's
a
so
good
true.
launch point.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. So use your money on property here, get that rent to pay your rent in the States, come down here and enjoy the property. Besides that, it's everything. It's all walk of life. So I think a lot of people are buying now, preparing for a full-time relocation or part-time relocation. You buy at today's price, it's always going to be cheaper than tomorrow. That's kind of common sense. So I mean, a lot of people
What
are
is the
real.
appreciation? I mean, do you see spikes or is it pretty steady? Do you see big
It,
drops?
I think we saw spikes during COVID, so it's very hard to compare. I mean, I bought during COVID just because I had to get out of the country and come down here more often, and there was so much demand. But I think it's probably you guys probably have way more appreciation where you're at. But as we have less beachfront property, less opportunity for development because Costa Rica is very protected. I think the appreciation will always go up. I don't think, it's at the percentage of some other places. Then again, like I said, it's steady. So where we're at in Hako, it's kind of being overbuilt. So I think what'll happen is not a price drop, but kind of a period, especially this year, maybe into next year, where we have to catch up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prices aren't going to drop, but things are going to be on the market much longer.
Yeah. So it's sort of a flattening, if you will, but not necessarily a regression. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Costa Rica is such an attractive place. You're always going to have people wanting to invest here. I mean, there's other countries to invest, but where else can you, spend 150,000, become a temporary resident, which leads to permanent residency, kind of a safety net for a lot of people who want that dual residency. And it's green here. It's awesome. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
amazing place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. I was most impressed when I was there that it, as much as it did feel like developing, there were certain
Mhm.
aspects from an American, like there was a supermarket there. I think it's called Super
Yeah.
Americano right somewhere near you. And it felt
Yeah.
like a Publix, it
Whole
felt like
Foods on
a,
steroids.
what's
Yeah.
that?
It was like a Whole Foods on steroids. Very expensive,
Exactly.
but you can find American brands there. So I don't go
100%.
there. Not my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. No, I remember that. And then I remember your version of Walmart too, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
fans, no AC, it was pretty
yeah.
wild. But anyways, I
It's
digress. So I
we're
want to get back to, let's say somebody, you talk about a lot and they want to build. What are the building costs? Yeah, like what sort of, and how would it work? Do you connect people with the builder? Do you have turnkey solutions? How do you deal with
yeah,
architects, and how do you deal with all the zoning and all that stuff? What's that process?
yeah. So I'll start off by saying I'm lazy. I'm more of a one-stop shop kind of guy. I shop who was going to give me the most realistic price. I wanted to see projects. My neighbor used our builder, so that's so huge because I always hang out at his house. But really, a lot of people say you want a structural engineer that may be different from a contractor or an architect because you want them arguing about what can be done, what can't be done. But I'm more of a one-stop shop. I think it's hard to build unless you're here or you're in a gated HOA, meaning if you're on top of a mountain like we are, it's hard to check on. You don't know what's happening. Unfortunately, there can be shady stuff happening. So
Yeah.
you usually get like a little casita and you have someone live on property, which is what we'll do. It's about a 10-month build. And to answer your question, I mean, a house in the States that we have similar to what we're going to build here was 700,000 to build, where this is going to be probably 250,000, including a pool. So it's
Really?
easy. Yeah. It's easy to build because labor costs are so cheap, but that's about the only thing that's cheap. We're going to bring stuff in from the States. Don't tell anyone, but little things like fixtures, plumbing, lighting, whatever we can bring back, which you're allowed to bring back X amount with having to send it on a crate. But yeah, building's easy to do here if you have the patience or you have someone that's a trusted resource like myself to check on it, or you buy in a gated HOA where it's very secure and boom, they can build pretty easy. So it's
Yeah, there's some gated HOAs over there in Este Rios area, right? Like if I remember, there's
for
a
sure.
lot of expats, right?
Yeah. I mean, even Haka's more, Hermosa's more, but a lot of people want that gated community feeling, which is a good feeling to have. That's we're going to be non-HOA, but we rely heavy on our neighbors to watch over each other. We have a WhatsApp group. You name it. I already know all our neighbors, and we haven't even moved there. Probably won't be till
Yeah,
late next year when we're up there.
that's awesome. All right, well, let's talk
Yeah.
about too. What should Americans know before buying a property in Costa Rica that as far as the myths that should be debunked? Let's start there. As far as people who are researching currently.
Yeah, I guess three things that I would say, pay attention to. Number one, there is escrow here. So meaning it's actually TLA is a big one, and that's a Texas-based company that uses American standards with, their laws on how to collect the money, how to hold the money, how to distribute the money. So it's safe investment. It wasn't back in the day when escrow wasn't here. It went straight to the developer. Money tied up, money shortened here. A lot of people lost or short. So that's kind of the introduction of escrow. So it's extremely safe to invest here. The other thing we already talked about is you don't lease the property from the government, especially if you're up in the mountains or across the street from the beach. In Jaco, it is exempt from the maritime law. Most of the country is not. And then the other thing is you don't have to be here X% of time. I mean, maybe you do, but most people are leaving the country, coming back quite a bit. There is no Amazon here, which is a
Oh
big change.
no!
Yeah, I never thought I would miss Amazon, but it's hard to get things here. What you do is you order stuff to Amazon. You can fly it down here, but they charge per the pound. So most people
Ooh,
bring it from the States, have family coming. I mean, we go back enough where we can get our things. So but those are probably the biggest two. Is just how you own the property, which again is fully titled property. The use of escrow. We don't have title insurance, so due diligence is extremely important. But once the
oh.
house is cleared and you close on it, it goes into a national registry, which is very very safe. So you just don't
So
see
how do
like
they do that then? How do they verify that it's a clean title with no liens and encumbrances?
yeah, I mean, it's easy for them to do. It'd be the same way a title company does. I kind of stay
Okay,
out of that other than maybe, working to understand where they're at with the process. But same thing, they just make sure there's no liens on it. They go to the municipality where the information's stored. It's very easy for them to do. It's about a 15-day due diligence process. And then
got it.
closing is usually 30 days. So it's pretty quick. You can buy in your passport here. You can also buy through a corporation. So
Okay.
um,
So you
being
don't
in
need to be a resident.
no. In fact, they entice you, the government, to be a resident by spending $150,000 and then applying for residency if you choose to. That just means you're paying into the Caja, which is their healthcare system here. Um, and you can go in the residential, or you can go in the local line at the at the airport. So customs may be faster, but no, it'd be
I
a
remember
decision you have
that.
to make. it'd be a decision you have to make down the road. You don't have to make it at this point in time.
That's awesome. So
Mhm.
I'm looking here. Actually, we've gone over a lot of my questions I had.
Right.
So what's the one thing that surprises most of your clients when they start looking at Costa Rica real estate? Like, what do you find that process is for them, and what jumps out at them?
I would say a few things for good and bad. I would say depending on where you're from, that's your price point. Like I said, California people in Denver, Atlanta, they have no problem, with the prices here. They compare it to where they currently live. It is a expensive place to live, honestly. There is, it's for a reason. It's probably I know it's the safest country in Central America. They take USD. All transactions in real estate are done USD, which surprises a lot of people.
Yeah.
Really though, I kind of forget the question, but
Well, no, I was just say like for a lot of people who are thinking about different places, even for those who maybe are like, if they ever watch this and be like, I never thought about international,
yeah,
like for them, like what they find? Obviously, I think we talked about the prices, the
yeah.
owning the property, and all that. But
It's easy to do. I mean, people are surprised that the process is easy and it's fairly similar. It's money goes into escrow, due diligence is done. If something's found where the property can't be sold or isn't legally sold, then the money goes back to the buyer. The one thing here is water. You have to be very careful when buying vacant land. Usually you want a water letter or you want a well. For us, we did a well, so we wouldn't have to rely on the asada, which is, it's Costa Rica. That's the way they administer the waters, through an asada that's either publicly owned or privately owned. But that can be dangerous. So we did a well, and I had a few sleepless nights. There's never been a well dug in Hermosa Hills where they haven't hit water, but we had to go 185 meters, which is about 616 feet down. So, but
dude,
you want to buy, yeah, you want to buy land where you can get water, meaning it's through the government, through the municipality, or you can drill a well or dig a well, depending on how far you have to go. And
so
then
you said it's
electricity.
dangerous. What's dangerous about it?
If you can't get water, you basically just bought a property that is worthless. So you can try to get water through like a concession off of a river or a stream, but if you don't touch that, you have to get permission to drill a well and go from there. Also, with electricity, a lot of times it's not feasible. It's too far away. So you have to work to make sure you understand where the electricity is and how much it's going to cost to bring electricity to your house. That's probably easier than getting a water letter. As you can imagine, with people coming here, it's tons of water. It's just the infrastructure to get the water to you.
Right.
A lot of places aren't giving out water letters or water permits or well permits, especially in Guanacaste where it's dry. You have these big conglomerates coming in, like your JW Marriott, your Ritz Carlton, stuff you don't see here on the Central Pacific. There's a Marriott close to us, but they kind of keep quiet. It's at a marina called Los Sueños, but yeah, you just have to be very careful, and that's why using attorneys to do due diligence is even more important than in the States, honestly.
Oh wow, yeah. If I remember when I was there too, there was a couple things people told us was like electricity is very expensive, isn't it?
Yeah,
By
yeah,
comparison.
it's a ripoff. If you can do solar, that's the way to go. They don't give money back to you anymore when you used to be able to use solar and sell it. They realize that's not the way to go. But little things like putting your pool pump on solar is great. If electricity is right there, kind of grab it. But yeah, it's that conversation. Is it solar and invest in the energy now? And those batteries are so expensive. We're close to the ocean. There's corrosion. Yeah, a lot of things that can go wrong with solar. So I think doing a mix is the way to go if you're building.
No, that makes sense. And what about internet? Because the world runs off of internet. Obviously, we're on the
Fast.
internet.
Good.
Huh? It is. Okay. No
It's good.
interruption.
Yeah. Now, multiple options. Starlink's become very popular. Liberty is what we use. There's Claro, which is another provider. But no, it's quick. It used to go out quite a bit, and now it doesn't. It just, I'm on the internet all the time without issues. So, yeah,
How's
really,
the cell
it's
service?
easy on. It's good. I mean, I ported my number to Google Voice. So that's a one-time fee. So I can talk and text anywhere. And then WhatsApp is absolutely huge here. I wish more people in the States used WhatsApp because it's the easiest way to communicate. So my cell phone bill with unlimited internet is $34 a month, and I was paying 200 in the States. So that's the
Oh
only thing
my,
that's I know.
wow. So what about, can you get, because I remember when we were there, and I don't know why, but I couldn't log into my Amazon Prime account. I couldn't log into that. I couldn't get movie, because we wanted to watch movies with the kids.
Yeah.
You can still get all that there, right? Is that right?
Yeah, a Fire Stick can be your best friend here. That can bring
Got
you
it.
a lot of things. YouTube TV is what we watch, just because we have an account with that. We get that through a VPN, and then voila, we're there. That also brings us Netflix. So, yeah, you just got to get creative with it. But there are certainly ways to make sure you watch everything, including college football on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, which is most important. So I want to switch gears
Oh,
though. Talk to me about gringo pricing.
it's a real thing, you know. You go to the car wash one day, it's higher, and it's like, why? And it's like, because you're a gringo. What I do in this country, and you got to learn to do this, it's going to cost more money but less headache, is take someone with you who is Tico or Tika. I have a bank person that I take with me to go to like the ATM and talk to the bank. My attorney does a lot with me. Inspections here on your car are done yearly, which it's a big process. It's actually efficient in this country, which is rare. So I take someone there because I don't understand like neutral, reverse, forward, blinker. So he's just
Yep.
yelling the command at me, but you pay more for that. I take people out to lunch quite a bit, slide them $5, $10. But yeah, you're crazy if you try to do anything here by yourself. There's levels and layers of bureaucracy that just make your life very frustrating. So my
Yeah.
advice is spend the money, make friends with people, and use them. Just like if you move to the States, why wouldn't you rely on people that know what the hell they're doing? So
Yeah. Yeah. How was that language barrier for, did you know Spanish before you went there?
no, I mean it's an ongoing process. So a few things with that I tried to learn right away. And that was hard because I'm adjusting to a new life, adjusting to sun every day, adjusting to yeah, a new culture, new career. So, I mean, it was hard to learn. Also in Costa Rica, and this isn't coming from me, it's very fast Spanish. So when we went to Colombia and Mexico, I could understand more conversation. Also, it's lazy Spanish here, which I think kind of just means slang. So it's a little bit harder to learn, but I do lessons now, a few times a week, and it's starting to come. It's you hear a keyword in a conversation, you can kind of follow it, but
Okay.
frustrating when you listen to a conversation so quick and you don't get any of it. So
Yeah, I remember that it's funny you say it, because that sort of was one of my big like for me, I was like at the stage in life where I was, and the thought of moving there, I was like, oh man, this is going to be such a learning curve for me. And
yeah,
because one thing I noticed, we would drive around to these little, we would just go off the beaten path, right? And we'd get into these little neighborhoods. And one thing I noticed there was everywhere we went, mid-afternoon or so, you would see these large gatherings everywhere. It's like
yeah,
they're very communal. It's very big, connected community. And I remember trying to talk. Some people knew English because obviously there's so many English speaking folks that are there, so they accommodate them for the tourist aspect. But you could just sense that to really be able to connect, you got to understand what they're saying, and that I could tell
yeah.
that that was going to be difficult.
Yeah, I think depending on where you're at, usually on the coastlines, like where we're at, they speak perfect English. I ask them how, and they're like, I just learned from you guys over the years. But I was in an area near Tarcolis on the side by side, crossing over like a river.
Yeah.
And I went the same way, okay. On the way back, I must have got stuck in a rut. So I was literally stuck. It ended up being okay. I was just afraid the tide was going to come in and or out and actually push it, towards the ocean. But I ran down the river, found these two locals. They spoke zero English. They were looking at me like an idiot. I don't know how to say I'm stuck in a river. I know Rio, but that's about it. So the only way to get them to follow me was to reach in my wallet, give 20, 20. They smiled, said, okay. And they got their buddy, which I gave him a 20, and I bought him 40-ounce beers. Got myself one too. But no, they towed me out. It wasn't an issue at all. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it is here. They saw what happened, they reacted, they got paid, and they helped me out big time. So
Yeah, I noticed that too. My sense of the people were that they were actually very kind-hearted, very generous people, and I think authentic. They're very genuine.
for sure, we developed great contacts here, great networks, and good friends that helped us quite a bit. They're coming over.
Go ahead.
They're coming over next week to teach us how to use 911. I called it before and I couldn't understand anything. And it's not like the States where they call you back.
It's funny because I remember being there too, thinking, because when I did my research, I'm like, there was a police station right there in Hakka, right? And somebody said to me, they're like, don't even bother calling if you got a problem. They may come, they may not.
No clue. I mean, they drive around with their lights on just for the hell of it.
How funny is that? Well, listen. What's that? Yeah, do I stop?
I said, do I pull over? Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
So, hey, we'll kind of wrap this up here and put a bow on it. So tell us about this tower that you have and that you're selling right now that's in Hakka. I see you advertising it all the time on Facebook and stuff like that. And help the audience understand what you can get down there.
Yeah, so right now there's two projects that I'd recommend. Both of them are on a pre-sale. So seriously, it's the perfect time to get in because they raise prices. They're going to have two buildings. They're going to raise the price on that one as well. So if you can be patient, the payment schedule is great. It's like increments of 25% based on completion, the contract. But there's nothing right now in Hakka where it's a 2 to 3 bedroom that you're, under, let's say 450, 500,000. So these pre-sale opportunities range anywhere from 300 to 350 to 400, up to 500 for 3 bedroom. But the HOAs are going to be under $500. Everything's new. The amenities are better. Gyms, co-working space, boardrooms, surfboard storage. The one that's closest to Movement, which is 50% sold out, it's called Solea. It's a great location, kind of the north central area of Hakka, right on the beach. That's going to be considered like a low rise. Sorry, that's going to be considered low rise, mid rise. And then there's another one called Costa Point, which is beside Pacific Point, which is just delivered. We bought a condo in there. So same developer. That one's further. That one's not as far as long as Solea. But if anyone wants information on these, you can directly contact me. It's easy to do. So Coastal Point is actually taking reservations now. So you put your name in a hat. It's like a draft. If you're number 49, you get the pick of what's there. Similar prices to Solea as well. So, the pre-sale is probably the way to go for a lot of people. It's just some people want it here and now, and they're going to pay for, an existing condo that's very, very nice as well.
Okay. Well, this is good. I've seen some pictures. Obviously, we're on a Zoom call. What I'll try to do, maybe send me some overlays or some pictures and stuff, and I'll have my editor kind of do some overlays as you're talking about it. But if somebody wants to get a hold of you, they have questions, they're a little intrigued by this, and they find this and stumble across, how do we get a hold of Travis Comstock in Costa Rica?
Easy to do. Instagram, LinkedIn. I think my name's Travis Sells Costa Rica. And then .com, I guess. But really, text me, phone me, whatever. It's 614 representing Columbus.
Amen, baby.
499-3911. 614.
You kept that forever.
Yeah, I'm not changing, man. Like, you got to take a piece of Columbus where you go.
Amen.
And then the email is actually easy. It's just Travis-OCR@remax.com.
Travis-OCR@remax.com.
I'm sorry, no. I messed it up. Sorry. It's Travis@remax-OCR.com.
Okay. Travis@remax-OCR.com. Awesome, man. So listen, man, this has been fantastic. I'm stoked. You got me sort of making me want to think twice now about Costa Rica again. Yeah. And we're gonna come down and visit. You're gonna show us around, give me good places to rent and all that.
Yeah, I'll help you out. You guys should stay in probably Hermosa if you enjoyed that again, because Hako's right there. But Hako at night gets a little crazy, especially for kids. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
there's
why we
Airbnbs
stayed.
there.
That's actually why we did it.
Yep, yep. And then I can help you with a rental car, a driver, whatever you need. So
I was gonna say on the
definitely
rental
do it if you.
cars. Real quick on that one, because that's an interesting point. Because when we showed up at the airport, okay, so two things happened to me. I booked a rental car through, I think it was Alamo, paid for it. I
Okay.
bought my own insurance, right? I get out there, and there was like, I mean, dozens of people trying to get me to do a rental car with them. I found
Yeah.
they had the driver there. They took me to the rental car place. It took me 2 hours, Travis, to get that rental car. And what they
Yeah.
did to me, they were like, "Oh, what you bought."
Yeah.
And he worked me, and what I thought I
Oh,
got, I ended up paying 5 times more just to get the car. He was not going to let me get that car until I agreed to it. And then, oh, that insurance you bought? No, no, no. That insurance is going to work there. So what do people
you
do
need
for
more
that?
help.
Huh?
Yeah, I got a guy, I send him a lot of business. He's awesome. Basically, they pick you up in a shuttle within 5 minutes. You go about 10-minute drive, if that. They have the car that you reserved. It says my internet's bad, but you have the car that you reserve. And they charge you two options beforehand. It's a basic insurance or a little bit more for full coverage insurance. You don't pay a dime extra. And that's the thing with Costa Rica. You get ripped off when you try to do a lot of things that you think are right, and then you get here and it's just they sell you harder than you can ever imagine. It's like when
Yes.
we used to go on a cruise when I was little and they sold chiclets when you got off. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that. It's like cars, property, it's big ticket items they're trying to get out of you. And it's dollar signs on your forehead when you arrive, is unfortunately.
Yeah, they think
Especially
every American's is loaded.
yeah, I'm broke as a joke right now, and they think I'm loaded. Guys, I'm local.
That's funny. That's awesome. Well, man, I'll tell you what, Travis, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. And like I said, send me some of those overlays. We'll try to get this out. I'll send it to you, when we're able to get it published. And go Buckeyes. Are you able to get the games?
Yeah, I get all the games. I have a Buckeye bar I go to. I think I'm the only person that cares about college football here in Hako. Guanacaste is a different story. It's a lot of T-shirts representing a lot of schools. Yeah. But no, when I'm back usually in August, parts of September. So I haven't been to a game since we moved here, but it's hard when you got an 85-inch, screen TV. But I don't think I'll go this year, but next year plan to go to Texas, at Texas. And then I did go to the Notre Dame game, national championship game. So if we go,
you did?
Yeah, if we go pretty far this year in Miami, I'm definitely going to that. So save me.
Yeah,
especially Miami, which I think maybe that's where it is this year. So we'll be there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, man, it's been great catching up with you.
Yes, sir.
And I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I wish you all the best down there in Costa Rica. And
You
look
too.
us up if you ever come back here to Hilton Head. We got to get together, okay?
Yep, we should do a family trip there at some point. Loved it there. So yeah, come down here. Let's hang out, and same thing.
Let's do it, buddy. All right, man. You take care. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe to Real Talk Hilton Head, and leave us a review to help others discover the Low Country lifestyle.